Come with me, you're gonna see, and you'll listen audibly. It's The Guy in a Basement podcast. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to The Guy in a Basement podcast. I am your Wagonmeister, Nick, and with me today is a friend who I met during my university years. Very good person, genuinely kind, genuinely a zoophilic individual. She loves animals. That would be a big part of our conversation today. Welcome to the show, Cheyenne. Hello, Cheyenne.
Nick.
How are you today?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I am doing brilliantly. Things are going, they're swinging in my, what would be a good phrase? I'm doing well. I can't really use a better phrase than that. A lot of things are going my way, and I'm doing good.
Good stuff. So I gotta ask, you're in Wyoming, right?
Yes, I am in Wyoming.
Okay. How's your weather? Because it's been real hot in Kansas recently.
There you go. As people who live on the Great Plains, both of us experienced that. Today was the hottest day on record for, yesterday was the hottest day on record for September 10th. I think it got to be around 100. But today, it's actually not so bad. We got some thunderstorms coming in, and I know we're having a storm. There's been so much lightning over the last year and a half. I have lived in this state now to the point where it's like, I saw a post from people in Southern California. It's like, oh my gosh, the thunder and lightning is so scary. I can't sleep. And all I get is like, dude, that just makes me want to like take a nap because it's like cool and it's loud and it's not scary no more.
Yeah, I think the whole time I've lived in Kansas, which is coming up on 2 years now, I've had one storm that I would consider like scary, and it was because we had like a tornado really close by, and so the sirens went off and we had to go like hang out in the basement.
I get that. See, that's the nice thing. And that's living in Tornado Alley. You know, I wish you the best of luck. That's scary. For me, southeastern Wyoming, very much like Nebraska and like maybe parts of South Dakota. It's very flat, but like I can like if I drive over a hill, I can see the Rockies in the fair distance, and it is very nice. I very much like where I live. Right now, I've come to very much enjoy it. You can see in my background, I got like boom anime stuff, boom Japanese stuff, and all this like curios. But then you also see like there's a cowboy hat there, there's like a Native American thing there, and I've really gotten into those old interests I had when I was a kid, Old West and that sort of stuff. It's been fun.
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed living in Kansas too. It's so different from California, but it's different in like a good way. Like it's a lot less crowded, and because it's not quite as developed, there is a lot more like nature that just kind of shows up. Right. So like I've got bunnies running across my front porch all the time, and like I never had bunnies in California.
Absolutely. It's so funny you bring that up because like there's a colony of cottontails that lives in our neighborhood, and like usually every day so I tend to do like a weekly ritual, and I like throw out grains in there, and every day after I see like a rabbit who has eaten said oats in my field of like backyard patch around my tree, and I'm like, okay, that's really good for a lot of reasons. Yeah. So like I'm happy that I get to feed them. Unfortunately, I'm a big scary human who's like clomp clomp clomp, and then they're like and I'm like, no, I want to be your friend, but I know because I'm a scary hunter. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I actually had a really fun encounter with a rabbit the other day. I was in my backyard and I was like pulling up some weeds and stuff, and one like popped out of my neighbor's porch or big bush that they have and like looked at me and like hopped a little closer.
Oh, there you go.
Like looked at me and like hopped a little closer, and I was like, I'm not gonna move, and then it like went away. But what it wanted was to get in through the hole in the fence that I was kind of standing next to.
Right. So it's like,
and it was like,
it's kind of like a little.
Am I brave enough?
It's like, can I do this? Do I have the mental willpower to dart past this person? That's funny.
And then later, when I moved to the other end of my yard, it was like, okay, now it's safe.
There you go. Kansas must be an interesting place. You know, it's like there's a lot of history there, and it's like, so you live in, I think, Kansas City? Is that correct?
No, I'm in Salina, which is like
Salina.
it's considered north central Kansas,
Okay.
like an hour north of Wichita,
Oh, there you go. That's
and
a
we're
that's a
right
famous.
where two of the highways meet.
Oh, you're at the crossroads. Dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun. That's awesome though, because like that must be you have like, access to different ways just to get across and travel. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really nice because it's super easy to get pretty much anywhere I want, being like basically right in the center of the country.
Yeah, there you go. People don't realize that's like there you go. Do you ever do like road trips and stuff?
The farthest we've driven so far was probably Topeka, which really isn't that far. It's like 2 hours
Mm-hmm.
away, but a lot of that is because of COVID,
Right.
and also because with my old job, it was really hard to get time off.
I get that. I get
Um,
that.
yeah, which I was a zookeeper, which is why I moved to Kansas, was to be a zookeeper at the zoo here, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it was a really small zoo, and so on 2 days a week, it's just you in your area, and there's only one relief keeper for your shift. And so if you're gonna go somewhere, it's like you can be the only person
Ah,
off that day.
right.
Yeah.
So there's
And
like
so,
kind of a level of oh well, you kind of put a lot of effort on for us by not being kind of like maybe that sort of yeah. Sounds
yeah. And like, especially with my boyfriend being on the same shift as me, it
right.
was like, okay, well, if you want to go somewhere together, it's like, now we need the relief keeper to cover and the head keeper to cover. So, like, no one could be out sick.
Oh, gotcha. There you go. That's a lot of it's a lot of timetable responsibility right there. That sounds a little meddlesome.
Yeah, it's part of why I'm not doing it anymore.
Mm,
My new job, we're still a small company because I'm a chiropractic assistant now.
right.
Um, and so like there's me and three other girls who are there full time, and like you really only need three people there. So like if you do need to take off, like you totally can.
Nice.
But we've got some part timers right now, so like if I want
Mm.
to go somewhere, like it's super easy to be like, hey, I need to, go take my car to the shop because the check engine light is on.
Right, right, right. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you've gotten a little bit more, I would say, work-life balance then. Even if the work you were doing,
Oh my God,
I,
so much.
I remember you were studying, animals and stuff in college, and like, it's like, oh, look, she did it, she did the thing, and it's like, oh, she's a chiropractor's assistant now. That's interesting. But that makes so much more sense in context now that you're telling me that.
Yeah, and like honestly, when I was thinking about switching jobs, it was a really hard decision because I
Mm-hmm.
felt like so much of my life it was like, I studied this in college and like this was going to be my career and like this is
Right,
kind of my identity and like
right.
like how are people going to perceive me if that job isn't my identity anymore?
Ah.
But I also kind of thought to myself like, what do I care how people perceive me? Like I need to do what's going to make me happy and like just because I'm not going to be working as a zookeeper anymore doesn't mean I can't still like animals, like going to the zoo and like
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So I'm to terms with it, and I'm very happy with my decision.
That's good. And that's, I think, well, that sounds like right there is something that you took consideration. You took your ethics in, both personal and outside of yourself, and then you decided, this is what I'm going to do. And that's probably the best approach to really any decision you can make. So that's positive. That's really good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Oh,
what
yes.
about you? How's your job hunt going?
Well, it's funny you say that because, like, literally yesterday, um, I had an interview like the prior Friday before yesterday, and that fell through because the person was busy. So then I got a call Thursday beforehand, and that would be this Thursday, saying, "Oh, we'd like to do a different one at a different location." It's like, okay, I finished that, and I get a call from Japanese American, like, what would you call it? What are those things like they go reach out to people and say, hey, there's this company that's looking for someone with your qualification recruiting.
Recruiter?
Yes. and I literally just called them after they called me, and I had a conversation in English and Japanese with one of the workers, and then I had a conversation in English and Japanese with her boss, and they're like, "You willing to move to Arizona?" I'm like, "Well, maybe." So who knows? I might be moving to the low desert. You know, so that'd be different. Well, it's not different. I lived in Southern California, so I know what the desert's like. I'm just not used to not having the ocean next to the desert. So,
Yeah, and Arizona is a gorgeous place. Like I've been not a lot, but I went to the Grand Canyon, and it's
Mhm.
really gorgeous there, but I don't know that I could handle it being so hot all the time.
I I totally get that. And here's my thought on that. One, again, I tell you, I got into a lot of this Western stuff. It'd be nice to go and to be able to travel around like Arizona, New Mexico, and Eastern Southern California. Wonderful. Visit the deserts. But the second is, I have been losing weight like a madman. I'm like 35 pounds down from where I was like a couple months ago, which, yay me. Sorry,
Yay.
I'm tooting my own horn. I apologize.
No, it's great. You should be proud of that. That's awesome.
Thank you. And the more weight I lose, the more I'm like, oh, it's 80 degrees. I could totally wear pants right now and I'd still be comfortable. Oh, it's 90 degrees. And like the minute it drops below, like I think 75, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to have pants on. I need to have long socks. I need to have a jacket on. And I'm in the basement, and where does cold air go when it's going on? It's dumping right on top of me. So I'm literally like, it could be like a 90-degree day, and I could be on the top level and be like, oh, this is so pleasant. Everyone else is like, it's so hot. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm just absorbing the heat. I have become a lizard. Because my body is not used to not having... my body is used to walrus levels of chub, and now that I don't have it, it's like watching one of those very skinny polar bears.
I've actually made the joke to some of my coworkers that I'm actually a reptile because I worked with reptiles and our building had to be pretty warm for them, and so it was usually like 75 degrees in there in the winter and warmer in the summer because it didn't have air conditioning.
Right.
And people would be like, "Oh my God, you're in pants. How are you doing it? Like, oh, you're wearing a jacket." And I'm just like, this is my environment.
There you go. There you go. I totally get that. And all I can say is that...
But
it's dry and hot. That's my deal. Dry and hot.
yeah.
There's something about that.
Yeah, it's just like, I've got a limit though. My limit's about 93. Once it hits 93, I don't want to be outside anymore.
My
And
limit...
Kansas has humidity.
Yep, there you go. Humidity is you know, I've lived in Japan twice. Humidity is a son of a gun. It's a son of a bitch, actually. This is an adult podcast, so we can cuss like sailors on here. It sucks, dude. The rest of the year is great. Fucking love it. But humidity and cold and humidity and heat is awful. Hate that shit. I hate water in the air.
Yeah. And like, I went to New Orleans a few summers ago, and it was kind of miserable. And when I was looking at jobs, there was one at the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans, which, oh my God, it's a beautiful facility.
Right.
And it's like an amazing place to work. But I cannot live in New Orleans.
There you go. There you go. It's like my brother. He's planning on moving to Florida, of all places, which he has lived in before. And all I can think is like, you're an insane person. I love you, but clearly your rationale is a little strange. From a weather tech point. Like, yeah, I'm sure Florida's beautiful, but ugh.
There's like a few states that I like would refuse to live in, and it's like Alaska, Florida, Louisiana, probably Texas for other reasons.
Well, I mean, we could talk about that too, because I go on any topic, but I know why Texas too. See, I'm looking at your face. It's like, yeah.
Don't get me started on Texas.
Tejas, the state where it has become a, unfortunately, authoritarian theocracy.
Indeed. And I work for I have very Catholic bosses, and my one boss is very vocally anti-vaccine.
Ah.
And like being a science person and like being someone who really strongly believes in vaccines, every time I hear her talking about how they're poison and they use aborted fetal cells in them, I'm just like, Dr. Maria, please.
Well, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Clown world, friend. We live in clown world. There was a real estate mogul who failed 20 times and his daddy had to save him, so he's a baby. And he became president. He poops his diaper when he goes on the golf range. That's why I always like. You ever see pictures of that guy when he's golfing? He literally looks like he's stuffing cabbage up his ass. And I mean, I don't care your political leanings.
Really
That's
does.
fucking funny. He's the hero
Yeah,
of America.
I'm definitely not. I'm not opposed to making fun of any politicians, especially Joe Biden, who can't talk.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But then again, he is an 80-year-old who spent 40 years of his life making horrible policies. His brain is... He doesn't have the wherewithal like when he did when he made the... Okay, I could go into a fucking spiel about Biden, I'll tell you. And it's from being more on the left side of the aisle because, like, there are things where it's like, great, I love what you're doing. Now, grow a spine and knock Manchin's teeth out and fucking force him to do it. Or get Kristen Sinema in line because they're fucking farting around and, oh, we can't do that because there's going to be a deficit. There's a deficit because we kept bombing people in other countries, dumbass. Stop making $20 trillion fucking pilots in fucking stealth planes and give people fucking healthcare so they don't die from a pandemic disease. Or some shit like that.
Please, I would like health care.
Right? Wouldn't you like to have your taxes you give the government and then instead of saying, ooh, shiny plane, they're like, ooh, you're a person with human rights. Here is life. And freedom from not dying.
Yeah, and you know what's actually like really sad is like I had insurance when I worked at the zoo.
Right.
And when I stopped working there, I got on I think it's Medicaid.
Right.
Whatever the state. Obamacare. Yeah. So I got on that. And it's more restrictive in terms of like having what's in network.
Right.
But like it's a lot cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And like it covers pretty much the basic stuff. So like it's better than my private insurance was for a cheaper rate.
Well, there you go.
I'm like,
well, you know, that is the eternal enigma that I don't think most people consider is insurance is expensive because they want to profit off it. And I mean, like yeah. Wow, that's like, oh shit, that's a big realization, Nick. And you know this, everyone knows this. But like, literally, you want to make insurance cheaper? Government overhead, cut all the middle managers and like the stock and all that shit. And just like, you know, or here's the thing. You can do what Japan does. You can do what Canada does. That's not even like, compared to Europe, that's like piss poor okay medical care. Like, in Canada, they don't even have, like, I think they don't have dental. They don't have ocular. And they...
Vision?
Yeah, they don't have vision. They don't have vision or dental in their healthcare plan. And they still have private insurance up there. But it's better than the United States!
There you go.
But I don't know what you're talking about
yeah,
that.
My dentist that I started going to, because that was the other thing, I didn't have dental
right
through the zoo. And so when I was going to the dentist, I was paying out of pocket. And when I got my Medicaid, I was like, oh, it's got dental, cool. And then they were like, oh, we're at a network. And then I was just like, I like you guys anyways. I'm just going to keep paying.
There you go. I get that.
So
I apologize.
I like my dentist.
I apologize if I laugh loudy and break your ears. That's my personal apology to you.
You're good. You're not hurting my ears.
Okay, that's good to hear. Well, we got a couple viewers. That's nice. Hello, viewers. One of them is a lurker, and he's a friend of mine, so that's cool. So why animals? Let's get into the big topic at hand, because you are someone who loves the world of living, breathing organisms. I'm going to say organisms because you are a scientist. I have a friend who's very, very angry about people using the word creatures, and I understand why, because where that word comes from, so I'll say organisms. So, why do you love living, breathing, moving organisms?
You know, I can't like give you like some grand like, oh, I see myself in them type of a thing.
Right.
Um, I just ever since I was a kid, it's been something I've been drawn to. I like being in nature. I like animals. I like humans to a certain extent.
We are a part of
I
nature
find
despite our
medicine really
denial.
fascinating.
There you go. There you go. Very nice.
Which, I work with people now, so go figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of my like really young childhood memories are like when I was doing school projects and be like, oh, what are you going to research? And I'm like, tigers. Or like, oh, where do you want to go today, Cheyenne?
Right.
I want to go horseback riding. Like,
Nice.
so I don't know. It's just something that like I always had pets. I always liked animals. I always liked nature and the outside. And as I grew up, I was just like, yeah, man, I'm going to turn this into a career.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into college and was like, wow, I really hate doing research.
College, the great killer of passion. I get that.
And so then I was like, well, how do I work with animals without working with research? And then I was like, I could be a zookeeper.
There you go. And ba-bang, she did it, guys. And da-da, she told us our story already about how that experience was. So now she's working in the field of backs, which is a good field. People's backs hurt because posture is bad.
Oh my God. It's one of my favorite things about my job is I get to look at x-rays
Okay.
all the time. So like when we get patients, we usually take x-rays so we can see what their
Mm-hmm.
spine looks like. And like I'm not like trained to look at x-rays, but whenever somebody's x-ray pops up and I'm like, ooh, I know what's wrong there, it's
Oh.
bad.
Oh ho 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 ho. There you go.
Because like how your neck is kind of supposed to like curve a certain
Right.
way and then like your back curves a certain way.
Right.
Sometimes people's necks like go in the opposite direction and you're just like,
Yeesh.
and it's because we spend so much time doing this
Right. I get you.
that it like causes our vertebrae to be all funky.
There you go. That's why. Listen, that's why. I bet you in our generation, I, I'm betting you're like a zillennial like myself. You're that in between the young millennials and the old Zoomers. Yeah. For us, when we
Yep.
get old, we're probably be like not back pain. We're like, oh my god, my neck! I need the crane. Or something like that. I'm sure it'll be more. They're just like, I have a titanium spine. Here you go. It'll be vibranium. We'll all be
Oh,
Wolverine. We'll all be Wolverine. Hopefully.
thankfully, my spine is holding its own at the moment. And now that I work for a chiropractor, I'm like very conscious of
Yeah.
like sit up straight, Cheyenne.
Yes. Exact. Me too. I'm always about proper posture now. I do a lot of sitting meditation, and my back always hurts when I don't sit up straight. So I'm always doing back stretches, and like, here's like my neck. Here's how I hold myself now. So like I got that solid thing. You still got a bit of curve, but it's obviously not like this how I used to. And my neck is a lot easier. It's a lot more flexible. It's a lot more not in pain. It's a lot more easy movement. I have a lot more vision. Also losing the back fat that's right here over my neck also helps a lot with that. But still, yeah, I get that.
All good things for sure for you.
Yeah, things
But
will
yeah, it's
cross.
really fun when we get new patients and I get to basically interrogate them about their past trauma
Oof.
because it's like, anytime that you hurt yourself, like it could go hurt your back. So like I had a
Right.
lady I was talking to yesterday who was like, yeah, I drove through a tornado and like got hit on the head. And I was like, you drove through a tornado? What were you doing?
Well, that's the grit of the Midwest. That is the spirit of
Kansas.
America. Yeah, literally, Jesus, take the wheel. All right, Jesus, like this is stupid. I'm turning around. We're going back where we were go. We're not going there.
Tell me about it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so stuff like that's always fun.
Wow.
And then, I get to make a lot of small talk with people. So I get to hear about, oh, my divorce from my husband and all this stuff.
You're
Or,
t-
oh, my kid won't listen to me.
so you have like a
I'm just like,
drama
uh-uh.
job with gossip too? That's awesome. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like the best of both worlds.
There you go. See, you like the organism known as the human because they're entertaining because it's so superfluously silly.
They're super entertaining. Some of the phone calls I get are real fun.
Ooh. I would imagine the stuff in the background you might hear.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had a lady call me from Georgia to ask a question to our doctor about some one of the like pieces of equipment that we have, and
Uh-huh.
like she asked, me, I was like, I'm gonna go ask. Can I put you on hold?
What? She called you and he put you on hold?
No, no, no. I was like, hold on, let me go ask. I'm gonna put you on hold
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like,
because I
dang,
had to
that's
go
little.
track down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to
Wow.
go track down our doctor.
That's
But then like I'll
wild.
also get people who are like, oh, I'm calling to make an appointment, and then they give me like a 20-minute spiel on like all of their aches and pains, and I'm like, ma'am, I don't need to know this yet. Like, write it on your paperwork.
Yes, it's like this is stuff you get. Okay, I'm not that app where it tracks what you say and writes it down on the Word document. That's not what I do. That's not in the
Yeah.
job description.
No, no.
Right,
I'm just here to tell you, like, we can get you in at this time. You can fill your paperwork out online or come in early to do it.
for sure. That's good. That's good.
So
I
it's a good job.
I see that as the great. It's like this whole situation is like, oh my gosh, people aren't taking jobs. Like, no, people are getting jobs in record numbers. They're just not taking shitty, low-paying jobs right now. Sorry, Taco Bell. But
We've been getting advertisements on our TV for Burger King that are like, come work for us. We're so fun. We pay this much an hour.
yeah, yeah. They don't tell you about the burns and the stress and the. Oh yeah, the reason we're doing that is because we don't want to pay our workers enough. We just want to pay for advertising. It's cheaper, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and like one of the things that like is I don't know if it's known amongst like people outside of the field, but something that's really well known among zookeepers is like zookeepers get paid like shit.
Mm,
And so when I started, I was making 11.50 an hour,
wow.
which is livable in Salina.
Right.
Um, and then like the end of my last year, 2020, they were
Right.
like, "Oh, everybody's getting a raise," so it like went up to like $13, which is great.
Right.
Except our health insurance cost also went up, and so my net pay only went up by $24 a paycheck.
This this is I unfortunately am I, you know that just really sets in the line of why I have the mentality I have when it comes to like politics, economics, and everything else. I am a realist, and whenever I bring reality to people, they're either like, "Yeah, I can see that," or like, "No, no, no! Put the cotton in the ears. Let me look at the fuzzy bunnies and be able to say everything feels good." And then they want to stick their head in the ground. And it depends. It could either be like the red side or the blue side sticking their head in the ground. But when I talk, they're both doing it because they're like, "No, no, no! He's pointing out things that make sense." Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and so when I was looking for a new job, I was kind of like, okay, well, I want to, make about 13 an hour because like that's gonna kind of keep things more or less about the same because that's what I was making.
Right.
And so like my boss was like, yeah, we'll keep you at the same rate that you're getting.
Nice.
And like now each paycheck, I'm actually making more than I was making at my last job with fewer hours.
Yep.
Because at the zoo, we worked a 43.5 hour week. And so
Ah.
3.5 hours of it were always overtime pay.
Yeah.
Whereas here, our bosses are really like, we don't want you to have overtime. Like,
Right.
if you can help it, like, don't have overtime.
Right.
And so, like, most of the time, I'm working anywhere from like 37, 40 hours a week. And like, because I don't have to pay like expensive healthcare, it's like about the same amount. So I'm like, cool, I'm doing great.
There you go. There you go. I didn't know we were doing a
Mm-hmm.
healthcare episode, but there you go. We're talking about that. But it's an important issue. Hey,
Yeah,
humans are part of the animal world. Technically, we're still talking about zoophilic insanity because It's insane that
Yeah.
these animals are doing what they're doing.
Yep. It really is. And I could go on and on about like, oh, this is why I left the zoo field and like
Right, right,
yada
right.
yada. Like, I also want to be really straight up that like the zoo that I worked at isn't going to be the case for like every zoo. Because
Right.
like again, my zoo was 20 years old,
Hmm.
started by a guy who was about two tiger cubs shy of being Joe Exotic.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh no. Oh.
well, okay, the dude basically made a whole bunch of money off of Blue Beacon truck washes that you'll see.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And so he was like, I like animals, and like just kind of started like collecting animals.
Right. Right.
And like at first he just had them all in a big old barn. So he had like draft horses, and then he got giraffes, and then it was like camels, and then he got a tiger, and then he was like, maybe I should just open a zoo. And so it's privately owned, um, started by somebody who'd never been involved in zoos before.
Right.
The first zookeepers were just people from the community he was like, hey, you want to stop making pizzas and come take care of chimpanzees? And now
Right.
she's the curator.
It's like there you go. That's our tagline. It's like don't flip burgers. It's time for you to flip some hay into the corral of an exotic zebra.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Don't flip burgers. Feed hay to rhinos.
Listen, to be honest, I would do that as a first-time job. That'd be fucking fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially like for me, knowing how dang hard it is to get a job as a zookeeper. Like, if somebody just came up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to work at my zoo?" I don't care what animals I'm working with. I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, I'll come work at your zoo." Like,
There you go. There you go. And I just think like
hmm
the zoos were always some place where I would really enjoy because I do like animals. I mean, obviously, I didn't study animals, but I like to read about them and learn about them. So I would like to ask this: what is your favorite animal? What is your least favorite animal? And what is the animal that? Okay, so it's 4 questions. First, let's do your favorite animal.
okay. My favorite animal, I've got two.
Okay.
My favorite land animal
Ooh,
is a giant anteater.
nice.
My favorite aquatic animal is a whale shark.
Ah, I like those too. Those are both very good animals. Those are very good
Thank you.
animals. How about your least favorite animal? This is probably going to be the more tricky one, unless you really hate
Yeah,
something.
because like, uh, it. I don't know that I have like a least favorite animal. I have animals that I would say I'm like less interested in.
Okay,
I will tell you that the animal I would least want to work with would be chimpanzees.
that makes a lot of sense. I get that. Apes,
Yeah.
apes and monkeys, man. There's just we're too closely related to them, where it's kind of a not so fun experience. I would think.
I don't mind monkeys. Like I've worked with tamarins
Okay,
and I've worked with lemurs, which are also primates, and I love gibbons, which are lesser apes.
right.
Chimpanzees are just too loud, too messy,
Hmm.
and too smart.
Right.
I don't want to do it.
I get that. Plus, they're aggressive. If I was going to work with one of the great apes, sign me up for bonobos, baby. Let the ladies take care of it. If you know about animals and you know about bonobos, you know how that society works. And I'm not going to talk more about that, but you can look it up. That's how humanity should be run. A lot of shit would be
And
much
what's
more
funny
calm.
is like chimps and bonobos are so similar, but
I,
like very, very few zoos have bonobos.
right. Oh man. I
I
mean,
would probably work with gorillas personally.
I get that. Gorillas are just like, well, I mean, they're gigantic and they can be terrifying, but if you're not threatening them, I imagine they're not bad at all.
Yeah, they're less like they're a lot more like calm and steady, whereas like with a chimp, if you like feed somebody an onion, they might start freaking out.
Because they didn't get an onion and it's unfair.
Yeah,
See? Because
yeah.
they already have societies. Chimps have wars on it with each other in Africa, which is why it's like I know if and when humanity goes, what's the next species? Chimpanzees. They're gonna be like, it's gonna be Planet of the Apes, but it's not gonna be as cool. It's gonna take millions of years. And then I have a feeling that it's just gonna be kind of the same shit over again. I kind of worry. Hopefully porpoises will be the next dominant species on the planet. They'll just have like bladders.
Be lovely.
Yeah, it'll be bladders for them. You know, they'll like rig up something. It'll be like mechanical legs made out of, I don't know, shock absorption things. They'll conquer the land, or they'll have like a water empire. I don't know.
I'm down. I'm down for our dolphin overlords.
See? There you go. There you go. You know what would be chill? If at the head of that society was like a dugong or something, some like really slow animal. It's just like, I'm a peaceful guy. I'm like I'm the sea animal version. I'm the sea mammal version of the Big Lebowski. I'm just floating around, wearing my robe. I got a bottle because you can't have it. You can't have a cup in the ocean with the White Russian in it. That would be a great shirt. Just a dugong or a manatee, just with like dressed up as like the dude from the Big Lebowski. Wouldn't that be good? I'd buy that.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
All right. So.
But
yes.
What was your third question?
My third question. So we talked about your favorite animals. We talked about your least favorite animals to work with. What is an animal that you have not experienced in person that you would love to have an experience with?
A whale shark.
The whale shark? Yeah?
Yeah, I've never been anywhere that has them in captivity.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen them in the wild.
Mm.
And because they are my favorite animal, that would be amazing. I know that the Georgia Aquarium offers like a special thing where you can pay and dive in the tank that has them.
Right.
And I think if I could do that, I might die.
When you say that, do you mean of joy or of the massive mouth opening it up and in you go?
Of joy.
That's good. That's good. That's a nice.
The whale sharks are filter feeders, so it probably would want to eat me.
It'd probably be like, oh, that's not a krill. That's not something I can just slip in there. No, way too big. That's like, it's like giving a steak to a mouse. Mouse doesn't want a steak.
Yeah, I'd be like, this doesn't taste good.
There you go. All right. Here's my final question. What animal, if you were to see it, is the one that you would immediately say, nope, I'm turning around and going away? Like,
am I in the wild?
You can be in the wild, or like, let's say, boom, you're in the city and like every single animal in existence popped in your city and they're running amok, and you just happen to find this one that you just is like, uh-oh.
That's such a hard question, because as a zookeeper, there are so many animals that if they get out, you're like, oh no.
Right.
But if I had to narrow it down a little bit,
we can do like 3 or 5. Like, that's cool. We can do like a list. Okay. That might be easier.
Chimpanzee's definitely at the top of that list.
I get that. See, I totally get that. Again, no intelligent great apes. No, like, I can have like, again, orangutans, bonobos, gorillas. I'm down. I'm not a threat to you. I'm gonna make myself small. I'm gonna be over to the side. I'm not gonna threaten you. Chimpanzees attack people, man.
Yeah, so like chimpanzee, or honestly like any of the great apes, I would turn tail and run from if I came across without any barriers or anything.
Right.
Besides that, probably any large cat, tiger, lion.
Right.
Those are all no's. And what else? Honestly, probably an elephant.
That's interesting. Why?
Because
just the size.
They're scary for a lot of the same reason that chimps are scary. They're very smart. They're very large and very powerful. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they like to cause chaos for no reason.
So you're saying like elephants have chimp vibes, where they're like edgelords who mess with people for fun and are big enough to get away with it?
Yeah. Like we had an elephant at one of the zoos I worked at in California, and she was known for throwing rocks.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound very fun for anyone looking. Look, mommy, look at the elephant. Duh, mommy? Oh no, that's scary. That's whoa.
Yeah, and as far as I know, she only really did it to like the staff.
Okay.
She never did it at the public. It was like if you're an intern and you're new to the area, they like warn you like, "Hey, Donna likes to throw rocks." Like,
with a name like Donna, no wonder she wants to throw rocks.
yeah, Donna and Lisa are the two girls they have.
Interesting. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right.
But yeah, so elephants are definitely up there.
Hmm.
Uh,
So great apes and elephants. All right. Sounds like a trip to Africa is not in the cards for you.
And you know, I would go to Africa. I'd go on safari. I'd go see some animals in their natural habitat from a safe distance.
From a that's the calling card there. That's in that safe distance. Wow. Yeah, no, I'd go
Yeah.
too. I just have to be in a vehicle with closed doors that cannot get smushed or climbed on. I mean, they can climb it, just as long as they don't get access.
Yeah. On the flip side, an animal that people think is really dangerous that is actually slightly less dangerous than you might imagine, the cheetah.
Okay, can I? I mean, I get. Okay, so it's a speed-based animal that runs down because it's super fast. How is it less dangerous, if I might ask?
Because in the like grand ecosystem of the savannah, cheetahs are a lot smaller than lions, hyenas,
Okay.
and like a lot of those other big predators, and so they're actually a lot less aggressive and confrontational.
Okay. Okay.
And so a lot of facilities are actually free contact with their cheetahs. They'll go in with them. Some of them they're like harness trained. They'll use them as education animals and stuff.
Huh.
And like obviously, you know, they're still a dangerous animal. They can claw you, they can bite you, they could kill you if they wanted to. But for the most part, like they're not. I would go in with the cheetah. I would not go in with the tiger.
Well, yeah, I get that. I've seen the videos where the tiger is just like swimming, and then he sees like a small child or an adult turned around, and it's like the glass panel. It's like, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're not gonna get him, but dang, that's scary.
Yeah, terrifying. And fun fact, one of my old coworkers actually worked at Joe Exotic Zoo at one point.
Whoa! Okay, is there a story to this? Because now it's like we're getting into some spicy pepperoni.
Yeah, so she never met him. I think he was already in prison when she was working there.
Okay.
But yeah, based on what she's told me, like it was a very sketchy facility. And I'm very glad that she's not working there anymore.
I would imagine. I'm pretty sure the guy that was. Was it the guy who like took ownership of it, then arrested for embezzlement charges or something else?
Oh, something like that, yeah.
I don't know. Dark.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's and like what kills me is like these places have like so many tigers, but like they're not genetically like distinct subspecies anymore. And so genetically they're like invaluable to like not valuable for the tiger population anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And so, like, they are, because like you'll hear Zeus talk about like, oh, you know, there's only 3,000 Amur tigers left in the wild. And it's like, well, what about all these tigers that, you know, people own in Texas? And it's like, yeah, that's not an Amur tiger. That's like a hodgepodge Amur.
So it's kind of like...
Indo. Yeah.
So basically what you're telling me is that these tigers they have on display at these private collections and zoos are essentially like the mutts of the tiger world that are not... I don't want to say purebred, because that's like... I don't think people would think of pure... But like, that's so that's a perspective that just kind of blew my mind. Because, you know, no one knows that until you hear it from like a zoologist or someone who's in the know with that industry. So thank you for enlightening not only me, but people who watch this now and in the future or listen to it.
Yeah. And so like the two zoos that I've worked at, one of them had rescue tigers
Uh-huh.
that were in that boat of just being like generic tigers. They weren't any specific species.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have two that I worked at more recently that had tigers, was breeding them for conservation
Mm-hmm.
to like specifically help keep that population alive.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I mean, you think it's like purebred is kind of a weird way of saying it, but it's true. It's like if you have like a breed of dog
Yes.
and you breed it with another breed of dog, like the dog you have is a mix,
Yes.
and you're not going to want to breed it with another one of its parents to like get a purebred again. It's not going to work.
Well, one, in context, that's both, let's be honest, fucking disgusting and horrifying. And two, yeah, exactly. And of course, this was the attitude people had back in, I would say, any time before the 1960s with like the kennel associations, especially going back like 1800s dog kennel associate. Holy shit, the things they were making, fucking horrifying. And then I looked at like the pure breeds before then. Okay, when I was in high school, I lived in a neighborhood right behind a PetSmart, right? And I was walking along, and there was this extremely gorgeous. It was an English bulldog, but I'm not talking about like the overbred, crusty snout. Like I'm talking like it's a mastiff, and that thing is designed to fight a fucking bull. And it was muscular. It had like grayish fur with like yellow stripes. It was gorgeous, and its jowl was not smushed in. It like had enough to be able to breathe without having that skull problem that I know a lot of like the pug-nosed dogs have. And all I can think is like, that is a fucking beautiful dog, but I would never want to be on the bad end of it because it was at least 150 pounds. No. And I was like,
no.
Yeah, no, it's big enough where nothing scares it. It'll protect the children. It's so kind. It's like, and that's the thing that I love the most about dogs. Like, the bigger the dog is, the more it's like, this is why I think the dog would tell us like, well, I can't rightly say that I'm going to have a problem with you. I'm a big guy, and I don't think you want to mess with me. And here's what I think a Chihuahua goes like, hey, you want to fuck around, man? You want to come and do it? It's like, you think like a scrappy little, like, 5'2", and, like, Irish or Italian guy, turn of the century, who's, like, kind of, like, getting into fist fights with someone. That's how I think of, like, a small dog versus a big dog.
Yeah, no, that's super accurate.
There you go. I've had one pet, and I loved that dog, and he taught me a lot. I miss that dog.
I think I currently have 7 animals in my house.
Oh, wow. There you go.
You can clearly take a zookeeper out of the zoo, but you can't take the zoo out of the zookeeper.
There you go. So you have 7 animals. May I ask about your personal, I don't want to say collection, but it's like, if you reach a certain point, then it becomes a collection of animals.
It's kind of a collection. We can actually see my snake tank in the background here.
Very nice, very nice.
I have a ball python, and he was a rescue from somebody who was going to have to give him up. So he was adopted. And he's actually kind of cool looking because he looks like a normal ball python, but like a few shades lighter. Like the printer was like not quite.
It didn't have enough like cyan or something.
Yeah, and so he what's called like a color morph.
Okay.
And like people will pay like a lot of money for like very specific color morphs of ball pythons.
Okay.
But like he was rescued, so like he was free.
Right.
But he's kind of small. So I'm wondering if maybe he was, because I bought him a tank that's twice the size of the tank he was in.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a 40-gallon, which is the like recommended size for an adult. And so like I'm wondering if like he just didn't grow as much because he was in a smaller tank.
Right. Which, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you see that with like fish and stuff, and like, they don't have that room to grow, so they just kind of stunt themselves. But hey,
yeah,
means it's like a kid-sized candy bar of a snake having a fun time. That means he gets to explore more. Look at there's a positive.
he's a cute.
Aww.
And he's got a really sweet personality and temperament too. Like he's really chilled, loves to hang out. When I first got him, they were like, "Oh, he only eats live mice," And then I was like, yeah, no, he's not going to eat live mice. He eats frozen ones now.
There you go. And I'm sure that his diet has not changed in its goodness. That's good.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's not great to feed live rodents to pet snakes because they can, I mean, there's the humane issue of like,
Well, you're
is it
literally,
humane to,
yeah, it's messed up. That's horrible.
yeah.
Ugh. I'll,
But then it's also like, well, mice and rats can bite, so like they could hurt your snake if the snake doesn't kill it right away.
there you go. Yeah, give it a dead animal. I mean, that's the most humane thing to do. Now it's just a corpse. Might as well make it useful to
Yep.
the ecosystem. How? So you have.
Yeah, and like
So,
they,
go ahead. Sorry.
oh, I was gonna say, yeah, when they, the companies that like sell feeder rodents for snakes and stuff,
Hmm.
they gas them when they kill them.
Okay,
So like, it's pretty humane.
that's good. That's good. All right.
But yeah, I have a snake. I have a fish,
Okay.
a
Good.
beta fish.
It's good. You just have the one then. I have heard of the tales of the
Yes,
beta fish.
yes, and like male beta fish, very aggressive.
Right.
Female beta fish can actually be kept together.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
And you have
but
a
we do just have the one
okay. You have a
male.
female or a male? Okay.
Male. Hmm.
All right. I have an interesting little adage for the beta fish. Okay. So you and I met at our university's anime club,
Hmm.
and when you said you had a beta fish, I thought immediately of anime and manga series by Takahashi Rumiko, Rama One Half. And basically, um, one of the teachers who comes in much later, before, if this would be in the manga usually only, or the OVA after the anime finished. So she is someone who sucks the energy out of people with like 5 yen and 500 yen, 50 yen coins, like, and then like that's how she controls like horny kids, because of course this is a comedy manga from the 1980s. And like one thing, she's trying to get a date with like one of the characters' dads, so she ends up getting these beta fish, and since they're always fighting and it's a circle, she's constantly getting a pump. So typically her normal form is she looks like a 10-year-old girl, but she's actually like in her like early 30s. So she gets it, so she's like, boom, I'm an adult all the time. And all I can think of is like, yep, that's beta fish.
Yeah, our beta fish tank's actually pretty cool. It's an aquaponic tank, and so it like has on the top places where you can like grow microgreens and stuff, and
Ooh.
then the water circulates through it, and like nutrients from the fish waste like fertilize plants, and then the plants clean the chemicals out of the water, so it's cleaner for the fish.
There you go. I think that's the
Yeah,
future of farming, to be honest. Like it just seems like that's going to be a great technology.
I would be super down to have like an aquaponic fish farm. Like my boyfriend can take care of the plants because he likes to garden, and like I'll take care of the fish. It's perfect.
That's awesome. Oh, there you go. Maybe that's the new horizon. That's the new enterprise, as it were.
We shall see.
There you go. It's
Um,
all the local farmers. How do you have such fresh produce? Well, I have fish help me, and they're like, "What?" Yeah, I don't use irrigation. I used. Well, I can show you. There you go. Very cool. So you have two animals who are in separate tanks, obviously.
mhm.
Are the rest fur babies?
One is a fur baby, but she has her own cage. She's a hamster.
Okay.
She is kept in a separate room from the snake,
Yes, I would. There you go. Good, good, good. I'm happy to hear that. I mean,
which like you would think you wouldn't want to put small mammals in the same room that you're housing reptiles in, right? And yet
yes.
my boss at my last job was still like, we can keep the guinea pigs in here with all your snakes, right? And I was like,
You're going to hear a lot of chirping, and then there will be silence.
yeah. So
Oof. Dark.
luckily I left before I had to worry about that.
Oh
But
my gosh. That would have been probably a nightmare scenario. Ugh.
yeah, yeah. And like I'm always really careful if I'm gonna like do anything with my snake. I always make sure I like have it touched my hamster just because, like, I don't need to get bit. I've been bit by other snakes. I don't need to get bit by my own snake.
I get that. Very, very true. I mean, more so, I get the concept of it, not the actual experience, because as you can see, I'm a book boy, and book boys don't really... We love animals! We just like seeing the pictures of them and viewing them through binoculars. It's when they get close that it gets a little horrifying.
I've only been bit by a snake twice, and it was the same snake both times.
Okay. I'm assuming it was a non-poisonous, just kind of like... You're not saying anything! What was the snake?
He was a children's python, so they're actually one of the smallest species of pythons, non-venomous.
Okay.
His name was Tim, and he's a little
Was Tim...
shit, but I love him.
Was Tim timid? Was Tim timid?
No, Tim is an asshole.
Tim is an asshole! Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious.
Like, of the snakes I worked with, like, there were two that were pretty aggressive.
Right.
Tim being one of them, and the other one being our green tree python, Anastasia.
Aha.
Now, our Burmese python, Delilah, who, mind you, is 17 feet long and weighs about as much as I do, chillest snake on the planet.
Mm.
She's like, oh, you gonna pick me up? Okay. Oh, you got food? Awesome. Are you gonna clean my pond?
I'm sorry. I'm like, so for me, I'm like the snakes freak out every member of my family. I'm the only one that is like cool with snakes, to be honest. Like, mom wouldn't like them, but she's like more like me. She's like level-headed. My dad hated snakes, and my brother's like, nah. But all I can think of with snakes is just like, there's just something inherently, I think, like, humans are just so, like, anything that doesn't have limbs is like such a weird animal to us. Just like, there's something that's like, it's shivered down the spine.
I think the biggest issue with, like, snakes and spiders that people are, like, scared of them for is because, like, they do have the potential to be dangerous, and so because we don't know, it's just, I'm gonna err on the side of caution type thing. Because, like, moving to Kansas, I got to deal with brown recluse spiders for the first time. We didn't have those in the Bay Area.
Right.
And so, like, we had black widows in California. I have never seen a black widow in the wild.
Right.
I've seen so many brown recluse since I moved here. So many.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta tell you a cool story about a spider, but it wasn't cool when it happened, but it was cool at the time, like, in retrospect. So, it was during my first day in Japan, back in 2017, and I think I was, what was I doing? We were going on, like, a hike. We stopped at a random train station on our line, and we decided to go travel around through the country and just, like, look at stuff. And then, like, we went on this, like, little hiking path that supposedly would have led us right back to, like, our apartment building. And one of the path was, like, along this old house that was, like, a farmhouse / old residency. And I shit you not. Those massive Japanese spiders that look horrifying? And, like, it is the image you get when you look at that Legend of Zelda spider monster that's, like, the size of a human being. Like, it's bigger than my face. There was a massive web, and there was a colony of them. So we were, like, doing, like, Call of Duty scrunchy walks. Like, it's like going down to the ground just because we did not want to go near it. And we're like, how you feeling? It's like, I'm a little horrified right now, but now that we're through that, I'm pretty good. All I can think of was, like, it's like, oh my gosh. This is one of the most, I will never forget this. Because it was horrifying, and it will be burned into my brain. I think spiders are cool. Like, when I see a spider, I don't think, ew, gross. I think, thank you, buddy. You're killing insects I don't want near me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to be like...
I was gonna say, like, I generally, if I, like, find a spider in my house, I, like, catch it and put it outside, or, like, just leave it alone or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's a recluse spider, I'm just like, no, you're too dangerous, I'm sorry.
It's like, you don't deserve to live. I deserve to live. I get that.
There was one time I left a recluse spider alive, and it was in one of the bathrooms at work because it was eating a roach.
that's such a mixed thing because my least favorite insect is the roach. I hate roaches so much, and you want to know why? Because the sound, that crunchy sound you get when you step on one, and you feel it like collapsing with its exoskeleton as it and that's like I don't. It's not even that I mind roaches. Like whatever, they're a part of nature. You are allowed to exist. I think you're disgusting and don't come near me, but don't make me step on you. Like I literally, if I see roaches, I'm like, I'm doing a running jump over this fucker, which is hilarious because they're then be like, why did you do that? It's like, because that little thing is going to make me have the heebie-jeebies if I walk on it, and I'm just going to crawl on my boot or my shoe, and then I'm going to be like freaking out with its little fuzzy legs and its head that can survive 12 hours after losing it. Oh my God. What a fan.
And you know what's so wild is like I've worked with roaches, right? Like exotic roaches, like Madagascar hidden
right,
like giant cave roaches. And I got used to this guy. I could pick him up, no issue, fine.
Yep.
The minute I lift up a water bowl and a like wild roach scurries out, I'm like, ah!
I get that. I totally get that. I'm down for exotic roaches. Those look cool. They don't have that. It's just like, and I got like the classic squeamish 1950s woman vibe when I see like a classic roach. I will jump on a thing and I will literally say, "Mom, there's a roach in the house." I won't be like the person who stops and I'm like, "Did someone else take care of it for me?" There you go. See, I'm hip to the times. I have my inner femininity. The squeamishness.
I don't know if it's just because they always show up like so suddenly, or what.
I think that's it. It's like they're like the jump scare of the insect world. They just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's okay. That's why if I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's like, it's like there has to be some place on the planet where roaches don't exist, like those kind of roaches.
Antarctica.
Well, climate change is happening, so I think I could do that. There you go. When I'm in my 70s, I'll get a place in Antarctica on the condo I've got a condo near the southern pole. If maybe the poles will flip, maybe the northern pole, but there you go. It'll be a nice balmy 70 degrees while the rest of the world is baking in 120 degree weather. There you go. But okay, Antarctica. It's like, have you heard about like I think, and here's another thing I want to switch to another pest. So rodents, right? Do you know that in Saskatchewan there are no rats?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Apparently they have been so effective with their pest control, they do not have any form of rodent in their area, excluding the native fauna.
Huh.
Yeah, I just like, when I found that out, I was like, that is so strange. How does that happen? How does that work?
Yeah, I wish I knew because, man, mice getting into your food and, like, your grain bags are, like, the most annoying thing at the zoo.
I get that. Okay, so when we had a dog, we used to keep the dog food in the garage. We literally had to get an iron trash can that could not get chewed through because we kept finding rat shit in it. And there was this big, I'm going to call him Mini Chungus, because Mini Chungus, he was easily 2 or 3 feet long. He was a big son of a bitch. And he had a tail, I think it was like this long. He was a biggin. He got fat off the land. And I think because we had like a rat colony in our backyard under this massive tree that we ended wiping up. We had wiped out. Another story is there was a cat that had birth in our side yard, and we didn't know because we kept hearing meowing for like a week. And then we saw it, and then we gave it to a neighbor, and all the kittens that were born had fleas on them. It's like, well, glad we didn't bring him into our home. Yeah, stray cats, guys. They're good for killing pests, but they're an invasive species. Cats are an invasive species in a lot of parts of the world. Isn't that crazy?
They are. They are. If spay and neuter your animals, please.
Absolutely.
Because there are already too many domestic cats and dogs, and domestic cats are leading to the decline of songbird populations. So please, spay your cats and do not let them outside unsupervised.
Okay. I just heard that this is very good advice. Thank you. We all support this.
This has been a PSA.
Yeah. So I just got a very interesting comment from my friend. Chihuahuas were bred to kill the rats in the sewer systems in Mexico. I could see that actually being the case. That could be honest to God true.
I believe it.
Yeah. That's weird.
They've definitely got the temperament.
Oh God, yeah. Cornered rat's an angry little animal. So an angry little animal that has jaws of steel. That's a good animal to fight against. Okay. Okay, I got another question for you. And then I want to go back into your pets because it was fun talking about your pets. I saw your dog wandering in and out twice now, and it was cute. Just
His little tail going in the background.
Yeah, wagging around. So, if you were able to have an exotic animal as a pet, and you have everything taken care of, you wouldn't have any issues with it, what would you like to have? And I'm not saying I'm talking about exotic pet ownership. I'm just saying as a fantasy.
Ooh, that's a really tough question. And I think a lot of the reason that is a tough question is because a lot of the animals that I worked with personally, you can keep them as a pet. With reptiles and amphibians, there's not really restrictions on ownership legally the way that there are like some states you can't, own a tiger or a kangaroo or what have you. Right. But the thing with them is that you can't like import them.
Right.
And so like
those where those domestic breeding projects come from and so forth.
Yeah,
yes.
It gets a little sketchy.
Yeah.
I think if I was gonna have something honestly very exotic animal, but I think raccoons are really cute.
Hey man, I think that's a great idea. Raccoons are, I get that. I would own a beaver. I think they're adorable. I know they rip up shit, but like seeing him in a bathtub hanging out, just like enjoying himself or herself, I think a beaver would be raccoon or beavers would be hell of a fun animal to own. There you go.
Yeah, like a raccoon or a squirrel, I think would probably be my choice because I'd want something that I could kind of like hang out with.
There you go.
So I wouldn't want to have like a calf or something like that.
Wouldn't it be fun if you're like doing your dishes and here comes your pet raccoon and he's just like washing his hands along with you? It's just like you have your little like washing buddy.
Cute.
Absolutely. That would be a good idea for a cartoon. Just like it's a person who owns like a random animal that's like a random animal no one like thinks about owning. It's like, hi!
Like how Phineas and Ferb have a platypus.
Exactly. Like, what would be like the most zany animal to own? It's like, oh, I have an anteater because I have a chronic ant problem. I just don't like cleaning up the honey I spill on the ground. All right, Archie, get on in there. There's dinner.
And what's so funny is like the anteater that I worked with, she would get ants in her inside enclosure and she never ate them. I'm just like, Mary, there's your natural food source. And she's like, no, I want to eat the pelleted blended food that you make me in my avocado, thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're telling me that you had a snobbish anteater? That is hilarious. It's like, I say, Cheyenne, I appreciate your offer, but unfortunately, I can't eat organic farm-grown ants. It just doesn't deal with my stomach. I need to have what I've already been having. That's incredible.
But like crickets, if we gave her like crickets or mealworms, she loved it. I don't know why she wasn't about ants, but
well, there you go. There you go. Interesting. Okay. Very cool. So, now okay. Another comment from my friend. I learned from TikTok opossums can be picked up without worrying they will bite. So we all know the opossum.
That is a lie. I have been bit by a possum.
There you go. See? There you go. TikTok is not a great place to get knowledge.
Yeah, no. We had 2 education possums, and we got them when they were like wee little babies because they'd been orphaned and that couldn't be released into the wild. And so we raised them, and so part of them being education animals was they needed to be socialized and learn to be handled and everything, and like they were super cute, but yeah, they definitely bit.
I can believe it. Yeah, he just said myth
Yeah.
busted. So yes, now you're a myth buster. Very nice. You're part of the crew. There you go. Yeah, honestly, I listen, when I see a possum, all I think is good. I'm glad you're here. Eat anything that will cause damage, because I know you eat pests.
Eat all the ticks.
Eat the ticks. No one wants Lyme disease.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, dude. I love. Okay, it's like, so I had a coworker who's from Australia, and he was a naturalist and like a geologist and stuff before he started working teaching English, and he said, your guys' possums in America are horrifying looking, whereas our possums are good. And all I can think is like, well, it's because America's a tough place. You ever seen the European badger versus the American badger? No shit, Sherlock. American badger looks like he just did a little bit of something behind the corner of the bar, and European badger's like, I say, sir, I'm all done up for this fine evening. Look at my nice stripes. American badger, let's do this. It's time to go and get mosh down, man. And like same with the possums. The possums just like, all I can think of is like a grunge kid who's sitting at a trash can eating a half-eaten burger or something. And then a possum's like, I have my nice cucumber sandwiches. It's going to be pleasant. Nibble, nibble, nibble.
Yeah, honestly, possums get a bad rap for looking scary, but they're really. I would rather encounter like a wild possum than a wild raccoon.
There you go. I agree.
Like raccoons,
They are. It's so funny you bring up these animals because they're all animals that in my home, that in the middle of the suburbs of Southern California. One day I was just sitting watching TV alone. It was a Saturday, and we have this open glass door, so you can see everything into the backyard. And here comes a possum. He literally is just trudging along. He gets to the glass. He makes a turn, walks along, goes to the other brick wall, walks down, and goes away. I was like, what? And then another day, it's like, I see, because there's like a sewer system right next to it. And the sewer has a park that's a couple blocks away connected to it. So I would hear like on the roof in the night or during the day, and I'd look up. Dun, dun, dun. It's like a train of little raccoons just coming along and hanging out. And I was like, you dirty sons of bitch, get off of our roof. And because we had this massive tree on our side yard and it would connect the roofs of the houses, and it's just like, oh my gosh, that is both funny and horrifying.
Yeah, we get squirrels that run across the roof and jump into the trees because they're really close to the house.
Yeah, same here. A lot of red squirrels hanging out. I love it. I love where I live. Like I see like sparrows, I see crows. I saw a raven when I was up on a mountain lake on Sunday. Yeah. It was really, I was like, oh. And I knew it was a raven because it wasn't like caw caw. It was like grrr, grrr. And I was just like, oh yeah. Odin be praised, the raven saw me. Ha ha. There will be fortune. Yeah. I like ravens.
I haven't really seen crows out here, but I have seen, we get cardinals, a lot of sparrows, blue jays.
Ooh.
I saw a couple Baltimore Orioles, but they're kind of seasonal.
Right, probably. That makes sense. Yeah, I love birds. Birds are wonderful.
Birds are great. If I didn't work with reptiles, I probably would have tried to work with birds because they were like my second favorite thing that I worked with.
Oh, that's nice. I have another story in this house about a bird. So, again, it's another time where I'm just sitting at home alone, and I'm sitting on like the ground level of my house, so I can see out to the front yard, I can see out to the backyard, and I'm looking down at my book. I look up for a second, and I hear like a, and then right on the branch of the tree, I think it was either a hawk or a falcon. And I think it had caught a sparrow that was sitting there, because after it immediately flew away, and there were a bunch of like guts and feathers under the tree, and all I could think was like, That's either a sign or I'm just really, really lucky to have seen. Okay. Now, you know animals, so I gotta ask. The beak shape was kind of like curved down a little bit, kind of like this, is what I saw. And it was mainly brown. I think there was some white on it. What do you think that would have been?
Without seeing it, it's hard to say. A lot of the raptors kind of look really similar, and I don't know enough about them to tell you like beak shape wise.
Okay.
Around here, we had a Cooper's hawk land on our front porch, trying to get some of the birds that were at the bird feeder.
Oh no!
Yeah, he didn't succeed, but
oh my gosh. You gotta admit, that's a sneaky tactic. It's like, all right, I'm not even gonna try to hunt anymore. I know these people put these things out and these little birds come to it. I'm gonna take that opportunity.
Yeah, and I've only seen it twice, and it was like two really close together times. So I don't know if he was just like, yeah, hunting's not good around here. I'm gonna go back out into the field.
Right.
Or what?
There you go. Isn't nature mysterious and wonderful and
Indeed.
Strange? I love it.
Yeah. And sometimes really dumb, because my dog chases the rabbits every time he sees them in the yard, and yet they are still living under our shed.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I don't think that lagomorphs bred. I don't think they chose the traits they did for intellect. I always see the meme of like, you ever see the meme where it's just like, rabbits are so lagomorphs are so interesting because here you have this sweet honeysuckle adorable animal that looks cute and can't hurt you, and then you have this desert cracked out prophet looking guy with crazy eyes. It's like, yeah, diverse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Straight up.
We get the cute fluffy ones around here.
We do. I do too. And I like the cute fluffy ones. If I saw one of those cracked out like hairs in my thing, I'd be like, you know, I know you're not going to hurt me, but you look scary. You look like you're going to hurt somebody because you haven't eaten in a week. And I know you just eat grass. So I'm going to let you do your business and get out of here.
I actually have seen one of those. I was in Reno, Nevada, and we were out at like an animal sanctuary, and there was just one chilling. Just a wild one. I was like, oh, look, jackrabbit.
There you go. There you go. You want to know the most mysterious cryptid in Wyoming? The jackalope.
Oh yes.
Yes, you can get a hunting. You can get a license to hunt jackalopes. You can only hunt them between 12 o'clock at night and 12:01 in the morning. You have to be able to find in the wild. You can't see them, so you're supposed to close your eyes and take your best shot if you think you feel one around you. It's like, there you go. Like, there's a city in this. I wouldn't even call it a city. It's more like a town. There's a town, and they invented it, and they have jackalope shit everywhere. If you want a jackalope, come to Wyoming.
You know, I'm not sure if Kansas has any like really well-known cryptids. Because we're not mountainous enough for Bigfoot.
Right. Well, I mean,
and we don't really have a big enough lake.
Well, look at Florida. You can't say no. Florida has swamp ape, which is probably just some rich guy's chimpanzee got out into the wild and scared some poor yokel who has never seen anything that didn't look. Oh my Lord, stars! There's Bigfoot in these here parts. But he ain't from the Northwest, so I suppose let's call him Swamp Ape. I think they also go by Stink Ape. It's not a good name for that animal, like that cryptid.
No, it's not.
That's actually a good little...
I'll have to...
You have to look it up, see maybe if you got some local legends. I'm sure there is. I mean, here's the thing. Why, it's just like, you know, it's a better rabbit-based cryptid? The freaking Walpertinger that they have over in Germany. It's a rabbit with wings. Those things are adorable. And you know what? They have a legend. When you get drunk enough, you get to see the Walpertinger. But don't do anything crazy. Like, okay, it's not just a guy put little mini antlers on a rabbit.
I know. I would be happy to see any sort of mystical bunny.
Yeah, actually, I'm in the same boat. Just jackrabbits don't seem like that would work really well. It's like, how are they going to get under the fence when their horns get stuck in there? It's like that
That's
is
true.
that is an animal waiting to go into extinction.
Yeah, that's true. That's why there's no more jackalopes.
There you go. There you go. Okay. What is your favorite cryptid? That's a good question because now we're getting into the crack portion of the discussion.
Oh, I like the Loch Ness Monster.
Ah, that's a classic. I like.
Yeah.
Have you heard about his New York cousin, the Montauk monster?
No, but I have heard of his cousin Lake Tahoe Test.
Lake Tahoe Tessie. Oh, that's great. Oh my god, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty partial.
So, that one's definitely my fave. What about you?
I'm stuck. You know, I gotta go with my like. I lived in a place where Spanish-speaking people lived. I love me some chupacabras. You know, gotta love me the goat sucker. Other ones I really like. Mothman's cool. Mothman's a cool cryptid. Don't know what that was, but there you go. And gotta go with the OG. Bigfoot's a good guy. He's our intercelestial guide to the, you know, something about Bigfoot. Bigfoot's a classic. What can I say? It's not very original, but I like those guys.
No, those are good. Those are good ones.
Yeah. Well, I have to now put us into a different phase of the conversation. So, I have to use the restroom. So, I will now begin the segment called The Guest Takes Over the Show and just talks about something and rambles on while I go to the bathroom really quickly. So, you have free reign to say what you like. Don't use any inflammatory things. Just, I'm kidding. You can say what you want. Just don't go too crazy with it. And I will be back probably in like a minute or less. You got this?
I got this.
All right. Good luck. Just talk about stuff.
Thank you. Oh man, what do I talk about now? Goodness gracious. I guess I could keep telling you guys about my pets that I have at home because we only got through 3 of them. The other 3 I have 2 cats and a dog. And one of my cats is named Kitten because my boyfriend is very creative. And our other cat is named Hazel. Kitten was a rescue from he was like a farm cat that was just born in somebody's barn. And if you're wondering what I'm doing with my arm, it's because I'm petting my dog who's sitting right here. But Kitten was a rescue from a farm, and then Hazel was actually a coworker's cat. And when she moved, she could take her with her, so we adopted her. And she's hanging out on top of the cat tree over in the corner. And then Aki came from the shelter as well. He's our dog, and he's probably an Australian Kelpie. He looks a lot like one, at least. Whether he's a purebred or not, who knows. But he's a good boy. He's not very smart sometimes, but he's a good boy. He knows how to sit and lay down and shake hands. He's a good boy. Hello.
Hello. I'm glad that you
finished telling them about my pets.
Oh no! I guess I'll have to watch the episode myself and give myself an extraneous view just for that portion. There you go. That's awesome. All right. Well, okay. So now we're back on. Okay. So now I think we got a pretty good conversation about animals, pretty good stuff. Now if you want to just like talk about like silly like animation games, we can do that, reading or whatever you want to do, whatever you want to talk about. Now it can be like whatever.
Ooh. Gosh, so I've got like this like catch-22 since I've moved to this town, which is we have a bookstore, which is great because the bookstore where I lived was like a 30-minute drive away. The downside is it's not nearly as nice of a bookstore.
Okay.
And so like sometimes I'm kind of like, now I want to drive like to Wichita to go to the like nice bookstore, but I don't want to drive to Wichita.
Well, it's like, didn't you say it's like a 2-3 hour drive or something? That makes sense.
Wichita's like an hour.
Oh, okay. It's not too bad, but still.
No.
It's like me driving to Denver.
Yeah.
That is a struggle. That is, I get that struggle very much. That's why I'm happy
It's
there's
hard.
there's at least like 2 like independent bookstores and like a Barnes and Noble where I live. So like, I don't know what the population of Salinas is, but we only have like 60,000, but we got like enough without being. I have to take
We're
a sojourn.
about we're about 50,000 here in Salina.
Okay, so
I want to say.
similar size town or city.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice,
We've
very
got a
nice.
we've got a Chick-fil-A,
Ooh.
which I don't eat at, but we have one.
Me neither. I choose not to eat a Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna eat somewhere if you're gonna tell me I can't marry a girl. Like,
There you go. There you go. Hey, it's
but yeah,
bad. Simple thing.
it's bad. I also don't go to Hobby Lobby.
I was literally having this conversation today. Yes, I don't go to Hobby Lobby. I will go to any of the Michaels. All right, whatever the one is with the Jodelies. I don't know. Joanne's. Have you seen the joke on like Facebook? It's like Joanne and Michael must have been a couple, and then they must have broken up after having this decision to make a fabric store together. So now they're in deep competition. Yes, Michael's or Joanne. There you go. No Hobby Lobby in this house.
Yeah, and see, we don't have a Michaels in my town, so like, and then the Joann's in the mall is like pretty tiny. So like,
Ah,
if I want anything, I should probably order it instead of going to Hobby Lobby because I haven't set foot in that store in the almost 2 years that I've been here, and I don't want to change that now.
that's good. That is commitment. That is wonderful. Wholeheartedly support that decision too. It's like I'm like waving the flag of Cheyenne, and I'm not even making a joke. That's the city I live in, but still. I live in the town you're named after, which is named after them Indians, or the Native Americans, or Indigenous Americans, or they have whatever label they want. But yeah, there you go.
I haven't actually been to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Um, I've been near it. When I was like 3 or 4, my family took a road trip because I have relatives in Iowa, and we
Okay.
drove from California all the way to Iowa and back. So I went through like Nevada and Utah and the Dakotas, but I don't think we went through Wyoming, but I don't think we visited Cheyenne.
Well, I mean, it's a place to come to and experience once or twice maybe in your life, and I've come to appreciate it for what it is. And that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, it's a nice town. It's a nice town. Some of it is pretty fucking strange, but it's a nice town.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't tell people to like come out of their way to visit Salina. But if you know you're driving down the highway in Kansas and pass through it,
Come on and stop by. We'll have lunch or something.
go to Bogey's. They've got good burgers.
Yep, there you go. Go to 2 doors down. They got good burgers. Or go to Mr. Jim's Pizza. It's everywhere. It's in Texas and two or three places in Wyoming. That's it. Okay. If you want to do pizza, go to Mr. Jim's Pizza. That place is awesome. And it's reasonably priced.
Oh.
Uh,
I will say it's been really fun trying the like regional fast food places out here that like we don't have back in California.
oh, for sure.
I don't miss In-N-Out though.
That's okay. I get that.
Yeah.
I love
Like,
In-N-Out, but I mean, I understand because it's very basic.
yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of miss the habit every once in a while,
I get that.
but like the burger places here, like we have Brahms and Freddy's, and like they're both really good. Uh, the closest Culver's is in Topeka,
There's a Culver's in
and
my town, and it's literally like I could walk. It's 2-3 blocks. I could walk there. It's
yeah,
pretty good.
and like I'd never been to Culver's, and my friends from the Midwest, because I have like a friend from Minnesota, were like, "Oh my God, it's so good, you have to try it." And like I went, and I was just like, "It tastes just like Freddy's. Like, why are you guys making
Isn't it
such a
just
big
like
deal of this?"
Isn't it just the same brand with a different name, like how Carl's Jr. and Hardee's is the same thing?
Probably.
It seems like it would
I don't
be.
know. I think they're different, but they taste very similar.
There you go. I say if you're gonna try
Mm.
local cuisine, you have to go to like the nice stuff because then it's like, oh, there's like a culture behind it. Like, there's a place called Wyoming Rib and Chop House. It's expensive, but it's not like
Ooh.
Morton's expensive, where it's like horribly expensive. But only in Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. Those are the only places you can go to it.
We don't have anything really like that around here. There's an Italian place downtown called Martinelli's that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a ramen place that's pretty good, which is surprising because you wouldn't expect good ramen in the middle of Kansas, but here we are.
There is one Japanese restaurant, and I think it was a poke place I got ramen at. I door dashed it, and I got sick after. I was like, okay, I'm not having ramen until I get back to California.
Oh no.
It was not good. It's not good.
Oof.
But then again, probably
Yeah, we've got one ramen place and one Japanese steakhouse.
there you go. Very hibachi.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go. Nostalgia. All right. Any interesting local beverages that they have out there? Like any local brands?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm the closest thing I can think of that's like a local legend is we have a burger place called the Cozy Inn,
Mm-hmm.
and they make like they only sell burgers,
Okay.
and they're like the tiny burgers,
Ah, like
and they
kind
like you can get them like by the sack.
of.
Yeah, and I guess that they're used the same grill ever since they opened, and that like at one point they like replaced it, and they had to switch it back because they didn't taste the same.
Wow.
And they always say like they smell terrible and like they stink up your car, but they taste really good.
Okay.
And I
Interesting.
haven't actually had them yet because they only sell them with like everything on them, and like I don't like onions and stuff on my burgers.
I get that. I get that.
So yeah,
Wow.
but that's about our local food place.
There you go. Yeah, all I can think of right now is just like little like mom and pop shops and like that being like a local chain. Um, do you have any like microbreweries in Salina or anything like that? No, not any
Not that
Wichita.
I know of. I also don't drink, so I wouldn't be the person to ask about that really.
That makes sense as well. There's a lot of that
Yeah.
out here. People in the Rockies, it seems like they just want to. Oh, it's cold. There's the sky. What am I gonna do today? That's better.
Drink beer.
Yep. That was my yesterday after doing some job interviews.
I'm gonna drink.
Yeah, well, it's like as long as it's not excessive. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
I I I only drink like once a month at most, so I think that's healthy.
Yeah. For the longest time, like my boyfriend hadn't had any alcohol, and then the other week he was just like, "I'm gonna get myself a bottle of wine," and he like we had like pasta for dinner or something. He like poured himself a glass of wine, and then he had like a glass and a half, and he was like, "Oh." Like I'm feeling it. Like I haven't had a drink in so long. My tolerance is way down.
Yep, 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 yep. There you go. I think if you don't do it often and you're getting older, it hits like a truck. That's why I don't even drink liquor anymore. Like unless it's a mixed drink, it's like shots. And like I go out with friends, shots is like I just like it's for you. That's for you. I'm going to get this and the water. I'm not stupid. I don't have
Yeah.
I don't have the iron liver of a 22-year-old anymore.
I've never had an iron liver.
I hit my limit once and I have never hit it again, and I'm happy I didn't because that was not fun. It's not.
Like a good decision. I've heard some stories from my boyfriend about things he did when he was drunk in college, and they have been very entertaining.
They typically are. They typically are. But that is literally by the time I got to UCSB, I had gotten that out of my system. So I became like a 1 or 2 or 3, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm loose. I'm good. I'm just gonna try and stay around here. And then I'd be basically like, everyone's like, oh, and all I could think was like, oh my gosh, I'm the dad of the group.
If you can hear banging and stuff in the background, it's because my dog is trying to fight my cat.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's okay. They do it for funsies.
Oh, well, as long as it's in good humor.
Yeah, they do it for fun. Okay. We call it playing kill.
Oh my. Well, I mean, it's in their nature.
Nope.
Okay.
Kitten or cat is more dog than cat anyways.
Oh, well, there you go. Then the cat is probably enjoying messing with the dog then. That's some classic hijinks. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to offer the reading if you want it. If not, I think...
Sure, I'll take a tarot reading.
All right, tarot. That answers it. All right, let's do tarot. My little case for it. Everyone's always so surprised in real life when I take them out, because in real life, they're the size of regular playing cards. And usually you see tarot, they're huge. But these, it's just like it's a regular card deck. So... yeah, anything in specific, just a general reading. We can expand on stuff too.
General reading.
Oh, just a classic. I love it.
Yes.
Very simple.
I don't know that I've ever had a tarot reading done, so this will be fun for me.
There you go. And to any of my friends watching, and this is now or in the future, I do this, and you can Discord me, and I will do it for you. Any of my 3. But it's very fun for me too, because I like being able to practice. So it works for both sides. You want to hear a funny story? So I was streaming, right? I think I was streaming, Earthbound Origins, the first Mother game.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends, who's currently our lurker at the moment, I did a reading for him, and I explained it to him how I interpreted it. And he freaked the hell out. He's like, I can't believe that your cards called me out on my bullshit right now. It's bullshit. I can't believe I got caught up by strips of paper. And I'm like, yeah, they do that, don't they? Yeah, so I'm happy that he spoke to him that much. And it's just like, damn. Because it's not me doing it. I'm just like, this is all I do. I'm shuffling, and then I pull it with my left hand. It's these things are they're telling. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is your current energy. Well, that's very positive. The 10 of Cups. It's all about emotional happiness, fulfillment, enjoying life, being together. You must have a very nice situation at home with your boyfriend and your pets. That's awesome. That's a good energy to have. Now, here's the energy that's blocking that. The moon. So, the moon, you see kind of a coyote and a dog. So something is hidden. Something is not known. It's in the shadows. So maybe there's something you're not seeing that might stop, not have that happiness. But that's okay, because it's just got emotional happiness, and that's a good thing. Your subconscious is focused on the joy of being with friends and having fun and cheer and emotional connection. That's awesome. This is really positive reading. You're having a good time. You're living life.
I am having a good time.
That's awesome. Oh. Now, what you're thinking about, what your conscious mind on, is the Fool. The Fool is a major arcana. This is a big, important message it's saying. It's saying you are on the path of something new. You are beginning off. It's like you're taking a new journey. So maybe there's something in your life where you're starting off on a new project or a new skill set or a new attitude, or you learn something you're passionate about that's new. And that's cool. Is there anything, I'm not going to ask. But is there something that's like, it's something that's new that you're experiencing that's different? Probably the podcast.
Yeah, that is for sure. I would say, I don't know. I started my job like 3 months ago, so I don't know if that would still be kind of like starting something new.
Maybe you might be starting something like, I don't know. Well, I guess you'll see, because this is about your current energy, so maybe it might come up in the next couple days. Now your past. The Two of Wands. Wands are all about passion, it's fire, it's drive and creativity, and it's looking onto the horizon. It's you seeing something and you start it out. And since it's in the past, clearly you've gotten to a point where now you feel really emotionally comfortable, which is good. That's a really it's like that's building on success. All right, in your future, the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is dealing about balance, probably life and work. It's probably dealing with maybe material success, passion projects, other such things, work. But you have to find that balance in there. So maybe in the future you might be overwhelmed on one side and it's detracting from other. Remember, balance is important. So that's a good warning for the future. All right, here's the U card. Here's the U. It's the most important card. Oh, that's a good one for the U. Ace of Pentacles. That means you're starting a new thing, or some opportunity will strike you where you will be given a gift of prosperity, of wealth, of something. That's good. That's a good thing. Got some fortune in you.
Maybe there's a raise in my future.
I think that's what it is you might be getting a raise and a promotion of some sort then. That's good. All right. Let's see how others perceive you. Ooh, this is interesting because a lot of this has been positive. You got the Tower. See, there you go. The Tower's a little scary looking card, but it's a good card. It means a sudden shift in perspective. It's all about transforming your mind. You can see that the Tower here, it's crashing into the head of the Tower. And kind of you see like these ideas people who are controlling it are gone. So it's something new. So maybe people are going to suddenly see you in a new light. And they're going to like change their perspective on you. And it's going to come pretty sudden. So that's what that probably means. Now, your hopes and your wants. The Eight of Wands. This is the card of movement. It is a card of progress. It is going forward. So you want to push forward. You passionately want to push forward. Sounds like. You want movement. And that can be like metaphorical movement, job promotion, moving to another place, really anything. So that's interesting. The likely outcome. You ready? This is what might or possibly will happen. Oh, well, that's a little scary of a card, but it's actually a good warning. So that's the Eight of Swords. You see a blindfolded, tied-up woman walking through a valley, surrounded by scary swords. So Eight of Swords is interesting because it's actually not a negative card. It's a card saying you have to persevere and you have to push forward. And you can't be scared even if you don't know what's going on. You'll be safe. It's just going to be a little rocky. So there's some very positive stuff in there. There's a little bit of warning for maybe something that might happen. Got some opportunity. Might be a little shaky. But, you know, there you go. Very positive. Very positive.
Keep trying to eat the cat.
Well, there you go.
Thank you. Sorry about them.
Oh, no worries. I get it. Cats, they run to the beat of their own drum.
Mm-hmm. They sure do. And the dog does for sure, too.
They're individuals.
Indeed.
They're very American animals. Well, there you go. I hope you liked that. It's always just for fun.
I did. Yeah. I did. It was really cool.
I'm glad. Well, yeah, you're welcome. And if you ever want another one, just hit me up. And, you know, if I'm available, I'll say I can do it then. Or I can do it now. All right.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Is there anything you want to talk about? Or I know that we're getting to the point where probably you said you had to leave by the end of the hour, but you know that's why I said it a bit earlier.
Yeah, it's just 6 o'clock when my boyfriend gets off work, so
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, if you don't have any more questions for me, I think I've had
I think it's been
good chat.
Yeah, it's been nice, pleasant, fun. All right. Anything to promote? Any social medias, or you kind of want to be on the DL?
I don't really put too much effort into my social media, to be honest with you.
Well, then I want to say thank you very much for coming on to chat and teaching us a little bit about the world of animals and other such stuff. You know, your opinions, your takes, your views, your experience. It's wonderful.
Yeah, thanks for having me as a guest. It was a great time.
I'm happy to hear that. All right. Well, once again, thank you. And this has been The Guy in a Basement podcast. I have been your host. your Wagonmeister, Nick, and be sure to follow that Twitch. Be sure to, if you're watching on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to give it your all. If you're listening on the podcast, check out the channels for when I actually start streaming again. Hopefully I'll have a VTuber rig at that point in time, because that's how I want to stream. I'm tired of streaming with my face. Not like I'm tired, it's just like I'm taking a break from it. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you in another episode. Bye!